Another hot day here in central and eastern Kentucky on this Wednesday afternoon. Highs pretty much in the low 90s. At least the good news earlier, humidity levels not off the charts, so nothing real unusual for this time in August. But the heat should crank up into the late week, mid to even upper 90s. Now, a thunderstorm complex could have an impact on temperatures, and we are looking at some very welcome relief by late into the upcoming weekend. Max HC radar and satellite. We're clear here in the area. Got a dying thunderstorm complex across parts of eastern Ohio, southwestern Pennsylvania, northern West Virginia, and we're going to have to look to our north and northeast for possibly some impact based on some of the data heading into the day tomorrow. Bluegrass Pace Care Skyview HC Camera Network, Richmond EKU, we're at 91. Dew points up to 70 now, so the feel like is 97 there. Temperatures around the area mainly right around the 90-degree mark. Lexington, the warm spot at 93, and out to the east, dew points still in the mid to upper 60s. Totally manageable, but when you get into the low and mid 70s, that's when it starts to get muggy. And our heat indices this afternoon along and west of I-75 reflecting that. You see all the pink out to the west indicating heat indices over 100, 102 in Bowling Green, Evansville 104. How about 113 in Paducah? We do have a heat advisory now. Lexington, Frankfort, down toward Lebanon and up to Cynthiana tomorrow and Friday. And then in pink, you've got your excessive heat warning. That'll be the more favored area to see those heat indices, say 105 to even 110. There's that boundary which is working back eastward, so that is going to allow the heat dome to build back in and should increase our temperatures. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of data sets here. This first one is our in-house data. It's short-term and higher resolution. Notice we start out dry tomorrow, mid-70s, but it wants to bring a weakening area of thunderstorms. You see temperatures spike up into the low 90s, especially down south, and then it cools off into the afternoon. Earlier, the major models were keeping it farther east, but with the latest run, this being the European model here, we start out dry, but look what happens as we get into the mid-morning, we see that same complex dropping in here. That would have a bigger impact on temperatures, although if it moves out early enough, we recover back to 90. So it may be a case where we only see upper 90 or upper 80s to around 90 as opposed to mid 90s. Obviously, no one's going to complain if we avoid the big heat, but that's just something that could kind of upset the apple cart, so to speak, relative to our temperature forecast tomorrow. Humid air sticks around and then it takes a tumble as that second boundary comes in. Again, our feel-like temperatures very much predicated on how things shake out with our storm chances tomorrow. Do think Friday will be the worst of it as we see 100 plus with the heat index. And then rolling into late Friday into Saturday, that's when that boundary begins to drop in. Upper 90s for highs, and we'll watch for some thunderstorm development late afternoon into Friday evening. Probably isolated to scattered, but obviously we got high school football, so that's a bit of a concern. It's a secondary front that will follow suit. You see the drop in temperatures, 7-8 degrees from Friday to Saturday, but we'll see a bigger drop and much more comfortable air as we hit the second half of the weekend. 73 tonight, mostly clear and warm. More sun, heating up tomorrow, 95. Could be a little lower than that, especially if we see any debris clouds or a few thunderstorms. We're going to hold that isolated to scattered chance in really now the next 3 days, given the heat that we've got around and those frontal boundaries dropping in. Sunday, Monday, low to mid 80s, and then we've got another boundary. Could see an isolated storm on Tuesday, but back behind that, very pleasant this time next week with highs right around 80.